to the channel, folks. I'm your host, FoG. Thank you for joining another episode here on Fat Old Gamers. Today we're going to do another video here on the Legends Pinball. And specifically, we've already done the one where we put the OTG screen in, the board, to be able to flip it back and forth. And we have it set up to record now, but I'm going to do this one with my old setup with the camera on the top, so we can take a look at one thing, and that's specifically the difference between the Zaccaria or Zaccaria or whatever it is, and nobody can get it, and the ones that are in the table versus the ones that you can buy on Steam. The reason why, I looked at this and I thought about it, and I've been a big proponent of Steam for years, and with Steam, they have the exact same thing. The tables are identical. There's nothing different. There's some unique components that are for the Legends Pinball, which is excellent. And this is by no means, it's not telling you where to buy the games, it's just giving you more information. The Zaccaria tables or Zaccaria tables that you can get on the Legends Pinball through AtGames, they enable a couple things. They enable the accelerometer for nudging, physically nudging the machine. And they also enable the exciters. You can actually feel it. Although it's not the greatest, it's still good, but it's there, right? And you can feel kind of when you're hitting the flippers. If you hit both together, it's really a lot. And the way they do that, from what I know, is they utilize the sound generated from those, and it amplifies it through those exciters, and it probably has a low pass filter in some way, or high pass filter, so it essentially only catches the low frequencies and then it vibrates like you would expect. So they do that for this, but then they also remove some features or some capabilities of the machines themselves or the tables from the Steam version. The Steam version actually gives you other options, does not support accelerometer within the version on Steam, and doesn't support the exciters for the Legends Pinball. But I figured we'd take a look at it, and two of the favorite tables that I have here, one is Time Machine Retro and one's Time Machine 2019. I've made that aware on here, I think, that I like these two, and they're a good example, and I have them on both machines, and we may look at one of the deluxe tables as well. There's not a huge difference, but this will give you an idea. So let's take a look at Retro first. So Time Machine Retro, we'll take a look at that here. Now this is the one built into, or that you can buy through AtGames. And again, 60 frames, 1920 by 1080p, does support, or I guess it's 1080p, long or wide, as we talked about before, and 1920 high. And it does support the back glass. And I'm going to turn up a little bit of the volume here, so we'll catch it on one of the mics. I don't want to put it up too high. There we go. Oh, since I'm probably going to catch on my lapel mic, we'll turn it up to 50. Okay, there we go. So we'll just play around here. So this is set to night mode. This is an option, and you can feel it. I have the exciter set to probably about low. If you put them into medium, they do okay in some cases, but there are some frequency or some areas where it'll hit that it'll be just like it'll distort, essentially. And that's been one of the issues that's dogged the exciter idea, is it's just not as good as a solenoid. But that's okay. I think they're fine, especially on low. I think they're good with some of the new updates they've done. And also, if you really want to go for it, you can toy around with some of the audio settings and get it even better, right, in terms of how loud the music can be or the table can be and so forth. But this gives you an idea. Now, the thing that I know from playing the Steam version is that the back glass on either of these, whether it's the one from AtGame or the one from Steam, the back glass to fill the screen is stretched. It definitely looks like it, but it looks good, right? It's got some little lights that flicker in it. It's actually not just a JPEG like we had talked about with the Pinball FX3. It's actually something different. So it's actually like a moving back glass or an animated back glass. So that was the retro version. Now let's take a look at the deluxe version, or the 2019 version, the remake version. And again, I've talked about this. A little bit weird getting in and out. What are we at? There we go. This one you got to hit back to get out, where if you're in the deluxe tables, you got to hit start. It's really strange. So we'll back up one and we'll go look at the 2019 table really fast. We're only going to play like one on each, but just to show the difference. And then we'll do like a side-by-side comparison, I think, of them running. So that'll be towards the end of the video. I'm going to try to make this one shorter. But since we got the OTG Rachel board, I thought, you know what, it's kind of an option now. It's actually an option to have almost identical experience, in my opinion. Yes, you're missing out on two features that the table supports, which is amazing. You know, it's always great. But in terms of the, you know, the experience, it's pretty much the same. And you do get a little bit more features to mess around with. And we'll show some of the features here in this one too. So just take a couple swings at this. So we have some footage. I love these tables though. These actually, the three here, Time Machine 20 Retro, Time Machine, and then Time Machine 2019, they all do a pretty good job with the sound effects, the music, the exciters. You know, they actually do really well with this one. If you hit both flippers together on 2019, you do get a little bit, if you're on medium, you get some of that feedback or that that distortion through those exciters. And if it hits a certain area up on the left-hand side, you'll get like distortion as well. There we go. But the lighting, you can see, I mean, the table looks great. The actual resolution is good. The 60 frames per second is amazing. There's no complaint in this at all. The price point, roughly about $50, right? If you buy each of the packs to get all 100 plus tables, you're going to pay $200, not on sale, through AtGames. And then if you want the 10 deluxe tables, you're going to pay about another $50. So that's $250. What I did, and I've talked about that, I bought them on the National Owners Day sale for the 4-pack of the 100, and so that one was $100. Okay, let's bounce out, or let's take a look at the settings. But that was $100. Then I paid $50 for the deluxe edition tables. So that was $150 there. Then I've spent money on the Steam, and we'll talk about those when we're over there. So let's go in and look at settings. So if we go down to settings, you can go in and adjust a couple of things. You can toggle Pro Mode, button mode, which adjusts where the buttons are on the right and the left-hand side. You can invert the flippers to make it harder. You can adjust the back box style and the display mode. So the display mode, you can essentially make it cabinet. You can put it into classic mode, which this is what classic mode looks like. We'll go ahead and show that. So it's more like it's on the floor, like you're looking down at the table, so it's not like filling the whole screen with the playfield. It looks more like you're in a you're standing at a table rather than standing at the actual cabinet here, the Legends Pinball. And this, you know, multiple viewpoints are available on both. So this is what that looks like. Let's get out of here. We'll go back down to settings. Select as that. And then you've got time of day, which you can adjust from the front too. You don't have to worry about that, but we'll put it into classic view display mode. There's default cabinet. So you either have cabinet or you have classic. Default is cabinet. And then if we go over one more page, you have the haptics. So you can go in, I have mine set at low, the accelerometer set at medium. And that's basically it. That's your settings right there. You have your master volume, your sound effects volume, and your music volume. And like I said, then you've got your regular settings, which we talked about. So that's the table, and that's for each and every one of those tables that are from AtGames. So let's go ahead and go back, and we'll quit, and we'll jump over to OTG. And we'll use that Alienware that I've got sitting in here now that still hasn't overheated, which is great. So let's flip this, go down to OK, and we'll hit our button under here. And that should give us both the back glass for PC in here. And let's select Zaccaria or Zaccaria. I did pay for all the tables. So I spent on Steam, I believe they had it on sale, which Steam, or the developer on that sells through Steam, will put these on sale quite often. And this past weekend, for Memorial Day weekend, they were, I believe you could get all the tables, everything, for about $100. That included the deluxe. So it is quite cheaper. It was actually like $120, I think, for everything. So it is quite cheaper, but there is that factor that the tables from Steam do not support the exciters or the accelerometer for the nudging. Additionally, you do not have, or you'd have to have a PC, right? So it's not as simple as like, oh, it's like $30 less than what you can get them on sale from AtGames, or, you know, it's however $100 less from when they're their normal price, or whatever the difference may be. There's a couple things that you've got to add into it. PC, you know, obviously you can use that PC for other things on here, playing other games, playing shooters, stuff like that. So advantages both ways. Not saying buy one here, buy one there, or do this or do that, right? Nothing of that sort is what I'm trying to put across. It's just talking about what you can buy from Steam, if you've got a PC hooked up with the Rachel board and everything now, and what you can buy from AtGames. Now, AtGames gets some money from that, I take it, I would imagine. Steam takes about 30% of anything you purchase, so the developer gets 70%. I would figure that it's similar maybe with AtGames, maybe 50-50, because they make the hardware, it's their own like little walled garden ecosystem, something like that. It's really going to depend on which way you want to go. Again, not telling you either one is better, one's better than the other. So if we go in, we'll take a look at Time Machine 2019. It'll load up. You even get very similar, you know, sound effects and announcers and everything like that. Here you do have tons of different options, right? Now, this is the benefit of Steam. You get the ability to have different viewpoints, far more different viewpoints. You get the ability to adjust the screen, the graphics, the post effects. So if you have a machine that does everything and is amazing, you can do that all on here. You have the back glass, you have different effects, so you can actually turn up the effect of the back glass reflection. So if we want to adjust that, go up here, and we can turn that down so you don't get as much reflection off of the table itself. You can go in, you can do glass type, glass quality, glass intensity. So if you don't want to have as much of the playfield glass, you can do that. You can make the table look old or new. The playfield can be rough. You can have particles floating in the air. This is PC gaming, right? This is where that adds that component in that you just really don't get on other builds of the game. Even on the, for example, the Nintendo Switch version of Zaccaria, you don't get these options, right? This is the PC option kind of thing. And it's not to say it's any better or worse. It's just more things you can mess around with. So I'm going to go in. We're going to leave everything the way it is. Yep, so we've got the reflections there. Even the black glass is reflecting what is on the table here, which is really crazy how they do that. The other benefit you get is VR. So some of us may not be into VR, some may, but the same game on Steam gives you the ability to do cabinet. You can play it on your PC screen, like without having it in rotate or in tape mode. You can even play it on a VR device like the Oculus 2. So lots of benefits to buying it on PC and running it through your machine rather than buying it through AtGames. Just like AtGames has certain things that it's good for. let's go in here and take a look. So this is the 2019 version, which we played. You can also add in weather effects. You can also add in room lighting, so you can have lightning in the background and different room lights shining down to give different reflections. Some people don't want all this, right? Some people just want to come in, start playing pinball, which you could after you have it set up, but some people don't care about messing with all this stuff. You can change the actual pinball. I'm going to make it an LED pinball. So yeah, you can do all sorts of things. Let's go ahead and just play classic. I kind of felt it would be interesting just to show this on here. Now, you do get this view here for, shooting it. The plunger does work. And this is just one of the many views that we have here. Now, I think I have it set to change the view. Let's get it to the cabinet view. Hopefully I don't die. There's tons of views, like I said. Oh, actually, you know what? We got to put it in cabinet mode. This is like that standard view we had on the AtGames version as well. You can see a lot of different reflections in here, in the background, on the sides of the walls of the cabinet, the playfield, plus the, you know, obviously the balls glowing. Let's go in and change it to cabinet mode. I actually was playing it on a different machine on the Ultimate version, or Ultimate Arcade, Legends Ultimate Arcade, so that's why it was set that way. So this should give us the correct perspective. Oop, nope, nope, don't leave. Resume. There we go. Now it looks, you know, identical to the way that it does from AtGames in cabinet mode. Let's go ahead and fire it off again. I will say there's a little delay in or little tricks that you got to get used to for the plunger. I've tried calibrating it. I've tried making adjustments. I was able to do it for the Pinball FX3. The Zaccaria table is a little weird how it handles it. It just doesn't respond the same way. So there's a couple things that you've got to know there, but overall it works just fine. I've been able to do skill shots with it. I've been able not to do skill shots. It's just, you get used to it. See, like right there, if I hold it too long, it doesn't fire off correctly, right? Like that. It's really strange how that works. And I'm sure there's a way to fix that. Steam, if you've never messed with it, gives you amazing options for adjusting controllers, stuff like that. So I'm sure there's a way to make it happen. I spent 4 hours doing it. I couldn't figure it out, but that doesn't mean much. Let's just say that. I don't know a lot about it, so I just toyed around with it and got it working. So that's the 2019 version. Let's go look at the remake really fast. Let's see, main menu, or the retro version. Let's go look at that one. There it is. And there it is, Time Machine Retro. I was waiting for her to say that. So now we have it in a dark view, or an evening view, and you can see a lot more lights. Again, reflections bouncing off. There's a mirrored surface around the outside of the playfield, which is really cool. I'm not sure which ball this is going to be. Oh, okay, so it held that over. So it's the LED version. But you can see there's marks. It's like weathering on the playfield, not weathering, you know, just scratches, and the glass itself, you can put that on so you get like this, you can have like a haze, like an older style play, you know, pinball table. It's really crazy how much you can do with it. It looks pretty amazing, but not everybody, like I said, is going to be into that. It's only made for, you know, X% of the people to have that kind of option, right? Other people just want to be able to walk up and hit the button and play, and that's the great thing about the AtGames versions. They're just readily available. You can play them at any point in time. Takes a second to get into the game. You can find the ones you like. I mean, obviously, there's some things that I'd like to see them do in terms of like the sorting method and everything, which I think others have said on YouTube, but or on anything, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, but it's something they need to do is address the UI interface. So let's do this. We're gonna go in. We'll look at one other thing that's unique to the outside of the deluxe tables, which both have all the other tables. There is this one extra feature, this zombie invasion mode on here. There's also story mode, multiplayer. Well, multiplayer, I'm not quite sure. I believe it's the same as what you'd have there. You have tournaments, which kind of AtGames does on its own. You have this video game. There's a couple video games you can play, like at an arcade machine in the actual like game itself. There's a campaign mode. So there's just some extra features you get with this. This is Zombie Invasion. It, works a little bit different. Let's see if we can fire that up. There we go. We want to play. So it's a waves of zombies coming at you, and you're playing pinball, and you're trying to knock them over or shoot missiles at them. For some reason, they didn't include this in the deluxe tables, which I don't know why. It seemed like they should have. There, you can just hit the back and you fire off missiles, and here comes some zombies. So the missiles will automatically target them. You can also bump them with the pinball and knock them over. You can set up more ammunition by hitting bumpers, and your guards down by the flippers will actually shoot them. And it's just wave after wave. It's just a fun way to play pinball. It's kind of unique in that sense. So it's got 10 stages. It just counts down through stages. And it's just, a little neat thing that the Steam version has. I don't know if the Switch version has this. I do know on the Steam version in VR you can even play this. So, for some people, again, all those features may be interesting. And, there is the Steam summer sale more than likely coming up. So, or some other big Steam sale, not just this weekend, that you'll probably be able to get these as cheap as you did before. Or on the Memorial Day weekend sale, which again was like I said, about $100. I'll show it on here. We'll back out. So that's just another thing that you can play. But the big difference, obviously, is going to be the price when they do put it on sale. I think AtGames could put it as low as Steam does, but would they? It's hard to say. The Steam sales are dictated not by Steam, they're dictated by the developer. So the developer comes in and they're the ones that offer the game at, this discounted price, like 50% off everything. It's not Steam. Steam just enables it with their sale method and their technology, but in the end, it's actually the developer choosing to do that. So let's see, if we go down here, available DLC, I'm going to see if we can, I already own it. I was kind of hoping we could see the DLCs, because the actual game is free on PC, the base game. I think it comes with one table. But here it is. You can see all the different prices. You go down through here. They may have actually went off sale because Memorial Day's happened. I think 10 a.m. is usually when they stop any kind of sale. But then they'll put other ones on discount. Individual tables, you can buy each table individually on here. You can buy them in packs. Like I said, I bought everything for roughly about $120, I think it was. So that's about 50% off what you would pay on AtGames. But again, now they're all back to full price. So, you're going to probably be pretty close. I'm not quite sure how much it is exactly, but I would guess that it's close to $250 if you bought it on Steam or not. So that just gives you an idea. I thought that'd be an interesting look at it. We'll take and do some side-by-side screenshots here so you can really see the difference with this camera. Obviously, if I do direct footage, the Steam version is going to look much better. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that it was through the phone recording it the way I've done it early on, so that you would get kind of the look and feel. that's about it. I think I took up enough of everybody's time. Appreciate everybody for watching as always. It's always interesting to talk about this machine and talk about pinball games in general and the companies that support them and the different ways to play them. It's always welcome here on the channel. I love talking about that. Love talking about retro video games as well and everything else video games. Do reviews. We do live streams. You can find that all here on Untitled Gamers. And I appreciate you stopping in, checking it out. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you got something useful out of it. And we will definitely talk in the next one. If you haven't already, give us a like, leave a comment, let us know if you've tried, if you prefer to buy things on Steam or if you'd prefer to buy it directly on the table. Again, that's my guess is a lot of people buy the table because they just prefer to play it on a table like an appliance and not mess around with this. I'm curious to find out how many of the Rachel boards were sold and how many more people would buy them. It's not really something unless you want to hook up a PC. So it's going to be interesting to hear that. And then if you could do it, give us a subscribe, stop back in, check out more things on the channel. You'll get notified when we put things up, and we put stuff up all the time. So appreciate it again, folks. Thank you for watching. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.